government did not have time or care for education. For us, we have put education on our front burner, and we were not happy with what we bet on ground. Like I noted earlier, if the missionaries had kept the school at top shape, or if the performance of the students in the mission school in court were outstanding, we probably would have left them the way they were. But what we met on ground needed immediate attention. Are you also and for us to effectively do that, we need to apply the holistic approach to revamping the educational system. And if we want to do that, we can't segregate schools. We can't designate some schools for girls and for boys.
Are you also taking over private schools?
No.
Are you setting new standards for private schools?
We are not. So parents have a choice.
You're not regulating private schools?
We're not regulating them. We are not forcing. We are not asking private schools not to have single-sex schools. No.
The reason
it's only our schools, the government schools, the public schools,
the reason I asked this
that we're concerned about.
The reason I ask this question is you say that, you know, you were not happy with the state of the mission schools and how you met them.
Not only the mission schools, the schools generally, including the so-called mission schools. Then I corrected you that government took over all schools.
Yes, I know that.
37 years
I mean, we've also seen them return most of this mission schools.
That is another thing.
Across different states. You know, but let us focus on Osun State. You say that one of the reasons why you're taking over the mission schools is because you do not like the state in which they're in right now.
No, we didn't take them over.
You want to upgrade them.
We did not take over the mission schools for about 37 years now. All schools in my states that are public schools do not belong to any faith. The missionaries were left with some parts of the schools they had before. Some parts of the land were apportioned to them, but they were given the right to keep the names of the school and maintain relationship with such schools. But basically, all public schools are government schools, including the mission schools.
Okay, so they just mission a name.
Yeah. If you were St. Francis,
yes,
you still retain St. Francis. Mm-hmm. But the government has been solely responsible for running these schools.
I see.
The government has been solely responsible for running the schools, but we still allow them to keep relationship with such schools.
Yeah, Your Excellency, let me comment here because, well, we have that. We also have the issue of some of those whose parents go around the country, for some saying that a police officer who is transferred into your school or transferred outside Osun State, how does he or she cope with the children with this education system which is not uniform in the entire country? But let's look at this subject because we must have to talk about this before we leave. I was joking amongst my colleagues. I said, okay, if I wanted to study IFA, perhaps I should come to Osun State. Is it true that IFA has been inculcated
into the
curriculum of schools in Osun State?
Okay, you've asked two questions, and I'm going to answer the two. But let me start from the rear.
All right.
It is a blatant lie. IFA is not in the curriculum.
But you heard that story.
Oh, I was laughing. I heard the gentleman saying, within a year, each house will produce a babalawo. What we've done, and it's only in the Okmoimo. In the Okmoimo, which we call tablet of knowledge.
But that's the tablet?
That's the tablet. It's similar to what you are carrying. It's just a bit smaller than the iPad. In the Okmoimo, and I bought it so that you can see it, we depicted the various religions of the Yoruba people. The Yorubas, the traditional religion of Yorubas, one of them is Ifa. So there is a write-up, the philosophy of Ifa. Beyond that, there's nothing else on this tablet. That is, this is it. So if I click on Ifa now, this is all. Does this show you any Okpele or the tools of Ifa? Just as I have the Bible there, the Bible is there. So any student or anybody who takes this tablet can click on the Bible and read any portion of the Bible. Ditto for the Quran. The Quran is there. Then we, as Yorubas, we also depicted a write-up that anybody who is interested, and is only in the high school, it's not for all the classes. So anybody who's interested in knowing about Yoruba traditional religion can read about Ifa.
Okay,
we don't teach it. So that's that. Okay, then for the second question, like I told you earlier on, what we're doing in the state is 100% in line with the federal policy of education. If a child comes to Osun and that child wants to go out of Osun, maybe after primary 6, for us, that is the 6th grade, they will still take the terminal examination for the 6th grade, which will enable them assess the 7th grade or JSS 1 in any part of the country. We have not done anything that is different, and it's the same curriculum that we're using. It's just that for us, we believe that if we put children of the same age brackets within a school, we'll be able to deploy our scarce resources, to provide all the tools required, the instructional materials required, the educational tools required for each of the 3 segments. That is all we've done.
All right.
So there's no problem. Students can come into Osun. Students can still go out of Osun and attend any school in any part of Nigeria without any problem.
Part of the other complaints making the rounds is that some don't understand how the state could predicate this decision based on a communique. They think that since this has to do with education, you should have conducted some sort of research to justify this reclassification and the need to do it. Because they say, as it stands now, the reclassification seems to be taking over the entire remodeling, improving on the curriculum which the state is trying to do. So, is there any research based on this?
Number one, when we had the Education Summit, we invited stakeholders in education, even those within Nigeria and those outside Nigeria. The way we run, Nigeria runs a democratic system of government. Ditto for my state. We carry everybody along. We have not changed anything. We've not changed the curriculum. We've not changed even the books. It's the same set of books recommended that we're using. The only thing we have done is to rearrange our children to enable us concentrate on them in the way we believe will make them excel in any external examination or internal examination, and also mold them morally and let them imbibe the good ethics.
So this is purely on the communique. No research whatsoever.
Of course, you say when you call a communique, when you call for an education summit, and a communique comes out after the summit, what people probably are used to is keeping all these communique, in the library to gather dust. But for us, when we called for the educational summit, it was a clarion call for help.
Yes,
we asked people to come in and help us.
Yes, but as altruistic as that seems, there are two different things.
Yeah.
Because now they're arguing about the communique, because their opinions are suggestions of people. But if they were facts, they'll be sacred.
They're facts. They're facts. And we made it available. We made the communique available to everybody. Unlike what they're used to. They're used to having summits that do not carry out the communique or resolution
you also said,
the summit.
You said that you didn't change the curriculum.
We did not.
You rearranged them in the way.
We just rearrange our children.
But isn't that cosmetic? If you didn't touch on the curriculum to improve the quality of learning.
Oh, you could. There's nothing wrong with the curriculum of the education in Nigeria. There's absolutely nothing wrong. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
I thought you said it was
not the curriculum.
I just said no. I mean the quality, the standard has fallen.
The standard of school had fallen. The performance of students was abysmal because things were not put in place. There were no teachers, paucity of teacher, lack of funding. Those were the problems, and we had to tackle this headlong. We changed the funding system. Before we got there, they were giving the primary schools 200 naira per school. To run a school, we changed that to 400 naira per child.
Just
so these are some of the things we had to do, based again on the education summit.
Just quickly, Ma, we're already being wound up. Just quickly touch on, the reason why all the students have to wear the same uniform, based on their reclassification.
Yeah.
Elementary have one uniform, middle school one uniform, high school one uniform.
Number one is to promote our culture. If you observe the uniform they are donning on, it's similar to what I have. I have a dire on. What they're having on is to let them have a commitment to the state. Identity is to give them identity. And also the various schools. We have three basic.
You're taking it away.
No. Because that's what uniform do. If you see a child in a particular brown uniform, you know that child is from the state of Osun, and that child is an elementary school kid. But they have badges that will reflect the name of the school. The badge, we've asked them to give them the badges free of charge, which they will put on the uniform, another one on the beret. So the ditto for the middle school and also the high school.
They're also worried about how easy it is to purchase the uniform regardless of where you are. I mean, if you're in the hinterland, do they have to buy it first of all?
Well, the first time we gave them was free, but subsequently they're to buy.
So regardless of where they are, they have to come to the city to buy?
No, they don't have to come to this. We have provided we call it red shops. There are red shops in every part of the state. The uniforms are sold by our market women, not by government. The uniforms are sold by our own tailors, not by government. We have an Omoluabi garment factory that we established to generate employment for our youth. So the youth sew the uniform, the market women buy and sell. In fact, they take the uniform on credit, and after selling, they pay them. It's just a convenient system.
All right, so I'm afraid we have to let it go. There are lots of responses just saying all sorts of things here, but
actually you give me more time because there are many other things I would like to touch on.
Unfortunately, maybe what we'll do, we can another meeting.
Because you relayed the program on your 10 o'clock news, and you were not even fair to the governor the way you portrayed him.
If we were not fair, you wouldn't be here.
You were not fair to the governor.
Yeah, but if we were not fair,
teaching politics.
Did he teach politics?
He taught different types of government. The part that you showed to the public was the part where a student asked a question. The student asked why it took so long for government to provide.
That's why you think it was not fair.
It was not fair.
But at least you're here. So if it were not fair, you wouldn't be.
No. The way you presented
maybe what we'll do is
yes,
just
you must give us another time to come in to showcase education system in Osun.
Our new education to Osun State. Well, we'll come to your state.
We will really appreciate it.
I will give you all the time
to the
you
state
want.
of Osun. You have to be fair to my governor because education is on our front burner. And we are deploying all the resources available.
Even though it's fourth on the agenda.
No. I said fourth. We have 6-point integral action plan.
Okay, all right, no problem.
It's not the fourth. It's not on the fourth position. It's number 4. There are 6: banish poverty, banish unemployment, banish hunger, provide functional education,
but
restore every living
budget. It didn't get the highest allocation.
It got the second. You got the second. I don't know.
Third here.
No, it's the second.
Billion.
No, it got the second. The highest went to infrastructural development of the state.
All right, we'll take it subsequently from there. But at least
I'm
you're here.
happy
we're fair
that we're
because
able to do
you're
that.
here. At least you've put some information out there. But if you want to take it further, as they suggested, we'll come to Osun State and see how that goes.
Have a feel of the education system. And you said the kids were not settled. The first day of any school resumption, kids will come there.
We really have to go.
We'll come there and take a look at this subsequently.
As I'm talking to you now, the kids are well settled. Especially the kids are settled with the new furniture.
We hope to see that when we come around. So,
we will see all that.
Just get our uniforms ready.
That day I'm going to give you elementary school uniform. You will have done the middle school uniform.
Thank you for coming
and you will
on
put
this
on the
morning.
high school uniform.
We're back after this break. Please join us again.